An old druggist told me not long ago, he said, Brother Branham, one day during the time of the Depression, said, son and I were sitting in the drugstore and said, oh, it was hard. And said, a woman come in that was to be mother. She had a prescription to be filled. And said, my son went up to wait on her, her and her husband, and said, when he looked at the prescription, she said, I don't have the money to pay for this. And he said, right over there is the place where you get the county, I'll get it for you. And said, her and her husband turned gently to go out to see if the county would fill the prescription. Said, something struck me. Don't let that mother, said she ain't hardly able to stand on her feet, let alone have to stand in that line there for hours to get that prescription filled. Said, son, go call her, bring her back. Said he went and called her and brought her back. Said, I went back there and filled a prescription with the very best drugs that I know that I had in the store. And said, I walked it up, took it in my hand and laid it in the hands of that woman. He said, Brother Branham, we're sitting drinking them all together. The old druggist, a real man of God. He said, you know what? He said, you may think I'm crazy when I say this. But said, when I laid that in her hand, I looked, it was Jesus standing there. I had put it in Jesus' hand. Yes, a paradox. The great St. Martin, he was a heathen, his father was. He wanted to serve God. There's a law in France at that time that if the father was a military man, the son had to serve till he was of age. Listen close. And when they drafted him in the army, he had a servant. And of course, every soldier had a servant. Instead of the servant shining his boots, he shined the servant's boots. He's a great man. He loved God. What taking place? One night, cold winter night, the wind's blowing, people freezing to death that hard winter. When he passed through the gate, there laid an old bum in there saying, please, somebody help me. Somebody help me. Somebody, the people who could have helped him passed him on by. Martin did give everything he had away. If you look, the soldiers wore a cape, a coat. He needed the coat. He'd freeze himself. So he took his coat off, took his sword and split it half in two, wrapped the bum up in part of it. He took the rest. The people laughed at him. What a funny-looking soldier with a half of a cape on. That night in the barracks, he woke up. And when he looked, there stood Jesus wrapped in that piece of garment. There stood angels all around him. And he said to the angels, you know who wrapped me in this? He said, Martin wrapped me in this. Then Martin knew what Jesus meant when he said, insomuch as you do unto the least of my little ones, you have done it unto me. When he wrapped that old bum, he wrapped Jesus up where Jesus was in that old bum. So we don't know who we're passing by. It was a paradox. I believe in him with all my heart.